Customer retention. So this is something that every business starts to focus on after you've been in business for a relatively short time. And here we're going to quickly discuss e-commerce, but this is actually quite applicable to any type of business because as the saying goes, that it's easier to make more sales from those who are already your customers than going out there and trying to find new customers out there in the cold. So if you already have customers, and as we discussed earlier in another video I made, using email marketing and other retargeting tools and strategies, you can re-engage your customers from the past, informing them of sales and other applicable communications that will make them come back to buy from you some more. So, what is customer retention? What does it entail? Customer retention is exactly as the name sounds, retaining customers. So, if someone makes a purchase to your store, you don't want that to simply be a singular occurrence. You want that to happen again and again and again. That's customer retention. Thus, customer retention is all the activities that we do to increase the number of repeat customers, the customers who repeatedly come to our store, and consequently, to increase the profitability of each existing customer. So let's say that we have 10 customers. So 10 customers came to our new business, our new shop, our new e-commerce store to make a purchase. Our goal is to at least get these people back to our shop. We want their repeat business. Now, acquiring new customers is always in fashion, but we also want to continually have a plan, a system that allows us to continue to maintain our connections to customers who've already engaged with us. Now, let me just erase this here. Customer retention strategies enable us both to provide and extract value from our existing customer base. So the fact that we already have customers, so let's say that these 10 customers, this one bought $5, this one bought $2, this one bought $1, and this one bought $3. Well, we want to extract more value from these customers. And in order to extract more value, we have to provide more value. That's generally what it comes down to. And what is it to provide more value? We have to provide more that these customers want so that they come back and engage with us. That comes in sales, that comes in new products, that comes in better customer service. Let's dig down deeper. In short, when we start to look at customer retention, our goal here is to create a foundation of customers, while our retention strategy is how we build those customer relationships and maximize revenue for each one. So when we acquire new customers, we want to use that as the foundation. So these are our new customers. That becomes the foundation of our retention strategy, because we want these customers that we've acquired, we want a percentage of them, if not all of them, to trickle into our retention strategy. So to continually do business with us. So they've done business with us here first. We want them to come back more times, because this is actually what separates successful businesses and successful e-commerce shops from ones that are not successful, ones that are not making as much as they can. So here, let's look at when to focus on customer retention. Now, we're going to look at the difference between acquisition and retention. So let's look at a circle here. Let me just change the color of this. Let's draw a diagram. So let's draw a diagram here. We'll draw 3 circles, or rather 5 circles. And we're going to name this acquisition, versus retention. And what we want to do here is draw out a diagram that shows when we should be focusing on the acquisition of customers versus the retention of customers. So let's put this one here at the first stage at 0%. Let's put this one here at 15%. Now, all of this will make sense in a bit, so let's just follow along here. Let's put this at 30%. Let's put this at 50%, and let's put this at 60%. And then let me bring up another color. We'll put 100% here, and we will put 85% here, 70% here, 50% here, and 40% here. Now let's draw this out and give some meaning to this. Let me go back to red. So 15%, 30%, 50%, 60%. Now let's go ahead and color the other half here. And then we will go into the explanation of what this means. So we'll give this a color for clarity. So the acquisition, or rather the retention, this is the acquisition. That's what this color implies. And retention strategy, when we should be focused on retention strategy, is going to be red. And let's give this another detail to fully clarify what we are getting at here. So the first circle represents our e-commerce shop, our business, when we are just getting started. So let's notate that here. Here in the second circle, we are gaining traction. So let's say that here we're making about 1 to 5 sales per week on our e-commerce. In the third circle, let's say that we're making 1 sale per day. So things have become consistent, right? And in the fourth circle, let's say that we've become more established. We're making about 10 sales per day, okay? And on the fifth circle, let's say that we are well established at this point in that we are making about 10 plus sales a day. So, when is it? When do we focus? When do we start to focus on customer retention versus acquisition? Well, when we first start our business, our e-commerce store, our particular venture, obviously it makes sense that we don't have any customers when we first start. So 100% of our time should be spent on acquisition and 0% on customer retention. As we move along, we want to adjust that pie chart. 85% should move to acquisition, so trying to get new customers, and 15% on retention. So we still want to start to apply some effort towards maintaining and getting more from the customers that have started to engage with us. As we move along and begin to make more consistent sales, at least some transaction a day, one sale a day, we want to change that from 85% to 70%. So 70% in the acquisition of getting new customers and 30% retention. So spending our efforts and resources on maintaining the customers that we have and motivating them and helping them to engage and spend more with us, repeat business, as we mentioned earlier. As we become more established, we want to move this to a 50-50 relationship whereby 50% of our efforts are spent on acquiring new customers and 50% spent on retaining the customers that we have through the various means that we want to employ. Now, as we become more well established, the pie chart actually starts to invert, whereby we begin to spend more of our time on the retention aspect and 40% on acquisition, 40% of our efforts. Now, obviously, this is a model and your business can very well be different. You may spend a different percentage of your time and resources in the acquisition retention relationship. You may have your structure differently, but it's important and imperative to build and maintain a customer retention strategy. It's vitally important. And we see here that the only point where we're not focused on a customer retention strategy is at the beginning when we really have no customers. But when customers start to trickle in, that's when we should start to put together a customer retention plan, because the customers that we have, they are the best source of business. It's a lot easier to engage and close someone who's already engaged with us than to engage a cold lead, than to engage a cold customer, a customer who has not engaged. It requires more resources, simply. That's it. Now, let's look at what a slight difference makes in terms of customer retention. A small change, just a small change in customer retention leads to massive results. So let's look at that here. Let's draw a picture here and just follow along until we finish. So, and this is from Shopify. So this is from the biggest and largest e-commerce platform provider, and they crunch those numbers. So let's draw out this diagram here. Let me put this up top here at 300,000. Let me put this at 20,000. We'll put this at 90,000, 160,000, and 230,000. Now let's just put this at 10. We'll put this 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. So this will be revenue right here. This is revenue. And this is time. And we'll just give this more detail by stating that it's months. And this graph represents a small change in customer retention and how it can lead to big results. So, two stores start at the same point. One experiences a curvature that leads to massive change in revenue, or from what we can see here, and the other has a different revenue formation. Now, do you know the difference between this and this? It's simply 5%. That's it. 5%. So imagine each store has 100 customers buying a $10 item each month. Now, this one here is retaining only 5% of its customers each month. This one here is retaining 10% of its customers each month. As you can see, the 5% increase can lead to rapid growth that is difficult to match with straight acquisition. Just look at the numbers here. Look at the difference in revenue formation. In the next video that will accompany this, we're going to talk about how retention fits into your business, fits into your e-commerce, fits into really any aspect of your business.